Hey guys, today we got to talk about something that if you're a self-publishing author is pretty important, and that is defining your marketing budget. Unfortunately, while a lot of us would just like to be able to post something online and have it reach a bunch of people, the reality is that social media sites, especially ones like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, they know that you are willing to pay for more exposure, and that's why, even if you have, 1,000 followers, chances are your post is only getting seen by about 200. They actively throttle your reach because they want you to pay them for more exposure, especially to exposure outside of people already following you. So I actually do work in social media management for my day job, and in that I've seen a lot of tomfoolery on these apps, a lot. I remember at one point Facebook was my company's biggest thing. This is where a lot of our traction was coming from, where a lot of our community as a brand was centered, and as Facebook's experienced its own weird problems, it also started getting more and more about spending money to get your posts to more people. So like you can boost them to your page, your followers, and also people who are friends with them, to try to invite more people to follow your page. That's kind of the point of doing things like that. But the fact is, if you don't do that, even if you have say 3,000 followers, you're only ever going to get a reach of maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500 if it's a really good post. You even see it all the time on TikTok. You'll see people with, over 100,000 followers, and yet their videos are only getting seen by maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000. When I look at things like that, I'm looking at ratio. I'm looking at ratio of followers to engagement. And that engagement is really what you're looking for. And sometimes, especially if you are just building your brand, you might want to put some money towards getting that actually in front of people, which means you have to define a marketing budget. So if I go on TikTok and I go to boost a post, you'll see that you can spend a lot of money very quickly. You can spend a lot of money because they usually give you a amount of money per day to spend, and they don't let you spend any less than $5. You have to spend at least $5 to boost your post at all, and obviously the more days you put in, the better results you're going to get. This is something that I've noticed from my experience in my job and just over time. It's better to spend a small amount of money per day for several days than it is to put a lot of money on one day. But still, let's go back into this and let's talk about it. So first of all, you want to set your budget, and you also want to get the most out of your budget. So when I am, say, marketing for my book that's coming out, The Glass Witch, I am specifically targeting people that I believe are going to be interested in the book. I have a budget of maybe $20 per boosted post, right? And so 2 times a month, that's about $40 a month. That's a takeout meal or anything equivalent. It's not like a crazy amount. Combine that maybe with the occasional boost on Instagram, on Reels. Now you've got maybe $60. Now it's dinner for 2 that you're skipping once a month. When you put it into that kind of perspective, it becomes easier to digest the concept of paying money for boosting posts on social media. I know it's very stupid and icky, no one likes it, but it does really help a lot with getting reach. And so what I'll do when I'm trying to get certain people, who might be interested in my book, I look at the age range. So obviously I don't want 13 to 17 year olds for this book. Likely they are not in charge of their own money. It's also not a book that I would say is really for 13-year-olds. 17-year-olds, sure, but 13-year-olds, no, I don't think this book's really gonna hit with them, so I don't bother including them. 18 to 55-year-olds, yeah, I will absolutely consider that age range, because this isn't a book that, is only for teens or something. This is a book that I think can appeal to multiple age ranges. And so as long as they have, the interest and the means to actually buy the book, they are the ones that I'm going to market to. Beyond that, I'm also looking at things like their gender. So maybe, I'm sure there are men out there who are interested in fantasy with a little bit of romance blended in. I'm sure there are. But I know that there are more women in general who are interested in reading, things like this. women drive a large amount of readership and, what's popular. So that being said, I'm not going to bother marketing like my book to a 13-year-old boy. I'm going to be trying to look for young adult or new adult all the way to fully adult women. Those are the people that I think would actually be interested in this kind of book. The next thing you do is you pick your goal. Like, what do you want them to do? Do you want like more views? Do you want more followers? Do you want more people to go to a website that you link them to? All of these things are very specific goals, and so if you're trying to just raise awareness, what you want to do is go for more views. If you want to build your brand, you want to get more followers. If you want to direct people to a product to buy, you definitely want to use that link. Link clicks are important. And this is another thing that I will notice about a lot of marketing things. I've done paid campaigns on things like Amazon, on things like BookBub, and let me tell you, you can spend a lot of money and not get any return, because views and impressions don't necessarily mean conversions. Conversion being the amount of people who see your ad and actually click a link and go buy something. You can have like 1,000 impressions and only one person who actually saw it, clicked the link, went to the page, saw the book, and bought it. That's just the reality. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're saying, oh, well, I got all these impressions, why did I get no sales? Because it's very difficult to convince people to buy something that they just saw for the first time. If you're ever on TikTok and you see the same ad like 8 billion times, that's because they're trying to repeat it. Repetition is what really gets people to buy these kinds of things. So you want to spend money that will get people to see it over and over again, that will get people to remember it without having to break the bank on it. It's a lot better to do many small campaigns that put the same thing in front of people's face than it is to spend a lot of money on one campaign that only gets shown once and then never does anything ever again. And if you also work on making like quality posts, the algorithm sometimes does show some mercy. So you can have videos that go absolutely nowhere, and you can have videos that blast off all on their own. It all depends. But what I like to do is boost posts that, might need a little bit of help. Even if they're well put together, you just boost them a little bit and then they can actually get the traction that they deserve. I don't spend money on posts that totally tank, that don't have a good like to view ratio, that don't, actually go anywhere. If there's no engagement, like at all, there's not really much of a point to bother, because that's clearly a post that isn't resonating with a lot of people. And obviously if your post is already going viral, there's no need to spend money on it, because it's already doing more than a freaking boost will ever do. Alright, boosts, when I do them, they get me about maybe 2,000 extra views. Great. Sometimes they can even get up to, 5,000, 6,000 views. Great. But when things are going viral, it's hitting like tens of thousands of views all on its own. You just don't need the help of spending money on that. But to recap, when you go out of your way to actually spend money on viewership for a social media post, it stings. It's icky. It hurts. Nobody likes it. But if you commit to it, and you commit to regularly making high quality videos that you feel comfortable putting maybe $10 into at a time, then you can boost something every week. You can do a 4-day boost for $10, like pretty much every week. Well, you can do a 2-day boost for $10. You can do a $20 boost, right? So $5 for 4 days. And you can repeat things like this every week or every other week to get consistent and repetitive viewership, because consistent and repetitive viewership, that's what's actually going to get you more sales, more followers, more brand awareness. That is what I've learned working my job and just, watching other authors do their stuff as well. So that's what I've learned from not only watching other authors, do their kind of marketing stuff, but also from working my own job the past 6 years or so. So these tips, I think, are really helpful for anyone who might be overwhelmed at the concept of marketing, and who doesn't know what to do, who doesn't like the idea of spending money on social media, but likes the idea of paying other people to make them social media content even less. You can absolutely make your own content and set a stable budget that'll help you regularly get the news out there. without needing a very expensive marketing team and plan and all that other nonsense. With that being said, I hope this kind of helps figure out, your way with starting marketing if you are in a position to market. And even if you're not yet in a position to market, this can also help build your author brand so that people know your face before you even put a book out. Keep in mind that there are a lot of those settings, so more views, more followers, those are valid reasons to purchase a campaign as well. And with that said, I will see you guys next week for some more writing tips and all the rest, so see ya! By the way, if you want to see these videos 2 weeks earlier, consider subscribing to my Patreon, where you not only get all these videos, but also recipe cards, specific deity profiles, and lots of other interesting things to look at. Video tiers start at $10 a month, so definitely consider checking it out.